Hi, welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. You're so kind. So today I was actually filming a totally different video where I was doing a scavenger hunt adventure by myself through Amsterdam with the purpose to entertain myself, but also because I'm looking for creative ways to exercise because I really can't get myself to do home workouts. I haven't felt fit and healthy in a very long time, like years. So I thought I'd look for creative ways to work out, and one of them was doing a scavenger hunt through Amsterdam. And the problem was that I was filming with my phone, but also the app with the scavenger hunt was on my phone. So we didn't start off very practical to begin with. And it was supposed to be about 2 hours, but because of my whack ass internet, the pages wouldn't load at all. And after half an hour, I was only at like question number 3. And then it started raining, of course. So, my lights also just fell down, so I guess this is very fitting that I chose to film this today. And I went home thinking, what am I gonna film? I don't know. I made a cup of tea and I burned my tongue so bad that I thought, let's just make a video of all the fails that I've had in the past 2 months, because that has been a lot. It was many, and if you know me in person, you're probably looking at your screen right now thinking, that's a lie, not just the past 2 months. You've always been a walking disaster. And yes, this is true, because I really have a tendency to, you know, when people cancel an appointment and they come with an excuse that just makes you go, there's no chance that this is the truth. There's no chance this actually happened. Now, obviously, me being me, in the past, I've made millions of excuses like these, but there's also often times when stuff goes wrong with me in a way that just makes you go, there's no way that actually happened. And oftentimes I do cancel appointments for reasons that actually happened. And then whilst I'm sending the message, I just go, no one is going to believe me because this just sounds ridiculous. Like, for instance, when a few videos back I talked about that I had an appointment and I took the wrong train and the first stop was the airport, so I got out at the airport and ran to the other platform to get the train back, and then managed to get my arm stuck in the doors and the train couldn't leave for 15 minutes because the doors wouldn't go back open again. So, you know, those kind of stories where I'm an hour and a half late for reasons that just make you go, no one would be in that situation. People are smarter than that. And then there's yours truly. Ta-da! So yeah, I grab my precious notes on my phone where I write down everything stupid that happens to me, just because to me they're funny stories and I don't want to forget about them. Stuff never really goes wrong with me. It's always like a special kind of wrong, like, how did you manage? How? I don't get it. So yeah, I figured I'd make this video today, mostly because I need to please the algorithm, also hopefully to entertain you, but mainly because I realized I would really like to have all these stories stored in one place so that I definitely won't forget them, because I mean, I can put them in my phone, but that also would mean that I have to not break or lose my phone for a very long time, and that's just not the kind of life I live. So yeah, grab a cup of tea, don't burn your tongue. Whilst in the background I tell you all about the moments where I just lacked a little finesse. Also, yes, I decided to paint my nails last week, and when I finished my left hand, I got distracted, and when I realized I didn't feel like doing the other hand. So I've been walking around like this. You know, it happens to the best of us. Okay, let's go. I've divided them into 3 categories. The first one being cooking. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so I've had 3 very stupid moments in the past month and a half, cooking related. One was when I was just about to film a video and I just wanted to have some quick lunch. So I preheated the oven and didn't realize that there was still an old baking tray with a baking sheet in there. And on the baking sheet, apparently I didn't see that, was a lot of oil. So when my oven was preheated, I opened the oven, saw the baking tray, and thought I'd just, you know, carefully grab the sheet and throw it in the bin. However, I did not see the oil that was now boiling hot. And when I folded it, a tiny sweet little drizzle of lava from hell dropped down my hand. And I made kind of a movement like that, and I was like, ah! And I burnt myself pretty bad. So I cooled it, and when I looked at it after, it turned out that I had burnt the letter L on my wrist. Like this. You can't really see it anymore now, but it was from here like that. And that was ironic because my boyfriend's name starts with the letter L, so for a few weeks I didn't know if it was going to go away and if I'd had my boyfriend's initials burned into my hand. So yeah, that was number 1. And number 2 is also not one of my brightest moments in the kitchen. So I wanted to surprise my boyfriend when he came home from work with a super homemade from scratch Asian themed dinner. And I had been in the kitchen all day and I had made sticky chicken bits deep fried, and it was all like, it was a lot of work. And they smelled so good, but they were cold once he came home. So I thought I'd heat them up in the microwave for just a little bit, but then accidentally not use the microwave button, but the oven button. And this happened. So there went all the hours I put in the chicken. But it gets worse because I'd also made a huge pan of soup, tom kha gai soup. It's like a Thai chicken coconut soup. I made a huge pan of it, and when he came home, I was like, look, I made you food. And in my enthusiasm, I knocked over the entire pan of soup. So within a span of 10 minutes, I had this and also this. So yeah, those were my cooking related ones. I can cook though. I'm actually pretty good at cooking. It's just as long as I manage to focus on what I'm doing and make sure I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm usually a pretty good cook, but yeah, sometimes it really goes wrong because also this happened and this also happened at some point. So yeah, next, let's take a sip of our tea first because, you know, stay hydrated. Come on, I'll wait. Okay, so the next category is me trying to film a video related, such as just now when I was doing a whole adventure, but my internet decided to get in the way. I've had 2 incidents whilst trying to film a video that were very, very dumb. Well, actually, the first one is very dumb, and the second one is just extremely unlucky. So yeah, let's start with the first one. I was actually trying to film some extra footage for the Snow White video. If I don't forget, I'll make it pop over here or here or whatever, wherever that pops up right now. I was trying to film some extra footage for that, so I did the whole vintage hairstyle. I slept with rollers in. I had a horrible night sleeping in them and brushed my hair out into this beautiful Snow White hairdo. Realized I'd forgotten hairspray, so I thought I'd just pop outside to the supermarket for a second, and I did. I went to the supermarket, realized I'd forgotten my wallet, so went back home, realized I'd also forgotten my keys because I just popped on a coat without realizing all my stuff was in the other coat. So I'd locked myself out without my wallet, and then it also started raining, so the whole hairdo that took me a day and a half to create just went here. So yeah, that was not one of my best moments. Locked outside with a vintage hairdo that's all like that, without keys and a wallet. Yay! And the other one that was very, very unfortunate was I was doing an adventure episode where I went to a garden center that did this whole crazy, totally over-the-top Christmas display thing with like a whole nativity play and a lot of real animals such as camels, but also alpacas and pigs because they were there when Jesus was born. And it was 2.5 hours away by bus because I don't have a driver's license. So I thought it'd be a little adventure taking the bus to this whole different part of the country, to this super weird garden center, and just film a random video there of me laughing at everything that I saw. I checked the website and they said they had everything, and I got there and it was just very underwhelming. They'd taken away a lot of stuff because COVID was starting to get worse. So they didn't want to have too many people coming over there because usually there's actually, it's like a normal garden center, but they just really go over the top. They had like touring coaches and buses that went to the garden center as a day trip to look at the weird Christmas display things. And I just thought that'd be hilarious. So when I got there and everything was just very vanilla, I didn't really have anything to film. The animals weren't there. She said, no, we couldn't do that this year because of COVID. And I was like, but your website said you had animals. And she was like, meh. So no animals, sad. And then I thought, well, at least I have a stand that sells mulled wine, so I'll just get a little tipsy and film a fun video then. And I went to the glue wine stand and she said, no, we stopped selling alcohol today, so you can just have hot chocolate if you want. Damn it! So I thought, whatever, I'll just walk through the garden center and go home. Whilst I was walking through the whole garden center, I started to get a small little tummy ache. And I was like, what's that? But I wasn't really paying attention to it because they did have a whole aquarium section with a lot of weird animals, like they had axolotls. So I was distracted by that. But slowly I started to feel more pain in my stomach. And then I was like feeling a bit hot and slowly also a bit nauseous. And then I started to realize, damn, I'm really not feeling good. So I was like, okay, I really want to go to the toilet right now. The only way I could get to the toilet was to walk through the entire display of the garden center, which was still huge. They made like a whole maze out of it, and I thought there'd be like a section where you could cut and go directly to the cashiers or the toilet or the exit or whatever. I couldn't find it. So for 20 minutes, holding my stomach because it kept getting worse, feeling hot, flushed and nauseous, I was walking through this maze of pots and plants and very kitsch, ugly garden accessories. Finally made it to the toilet, and from then on it just got worse. At some point I realized I had food poisoning or something, and I still had to go back home 2.5 hours by bus, and this is one of those buses that goes through the countryside, so they stop everywhere. So I stumbled to the bus stop and it was still 45 minutes until the bus came. It was freezing cold. Ended up throwing up at the bus stop and then got on the bus. I actually lied before. It was part bus ride, part train ride. So I was in the bus for about an hour and then I took a train for an hour and a half and also a tram for a bit in the end. Thank God the train I got on ended up being a train with a toilet, because well, it wasn't very charming what was happening. Let's just say that we accidentally took a corner on a two-way street. Yeah. So I was on the toilet of a moving train having a really bad time, got home, and then it just started to get worse and worse, turning into me just throwing up every 5 minutes, and I tried to take a little sip of water and I threw up again. So in the middle of the night, it got so bad that my boyfriend took me to the hospital. I'm usually really good at like underselling stuff, like, no, it's fine, it's not that bad. I felt like I was dying. It was so bad. And it turned out to be this kind of virus that was going around that was really horrible, and they gave me electrolytes and some other stuff, which in the end made it better and I could sleep. But oh my god, that was horrible. So yeah, there's been many times where I've tried to film a video and then life just decides to kick me in the ass for fun. Just lovely. So that's also why I stopped filming from September to January, because there was just so much stuff going wrong that I was like, oh, never mind, I hate filming. Because also there was this week where I was finally excited to start filming again, and then it just started raining so loud for the entire week that every day I tried to film, but the rain coming down on the roof was so loud that you couldn't hear a word I said, and it was like that every day for a week. So that's also why I got a bit discouraged filming until January, but we're back now, so it's fine. So we're on to the next category, which is physical and beauty. Obviously, when you've watched my previous videos, you know that I'm wearing a wig right now because I've really messed up my hair. So I'm not going to talk about that one. But something that did happen is I ordered a lash lift kit because I saw an Instagram ad, and it's like where you put these silicone things and you glue them to your eyelid, and then you like glue and perm your eyelashes over the silicone thing that's glued to your eyelid. And it's a lot. But the one I got didn't include the silicone strips, and I was like, well, I can probably also do it without it. I had done it before, so I felt pretty confident, and I thought, well, if I don't have the silicone strip, I'll just glue it to my eyelid. You know, what can go wrong? First of all, I couldn't get them unstuck. Like the glue wouldn't dissolve when I was putting on the dissolve stuff. So I had a really hard time picking them from my eyelid. It looked ridiculous. My boyfriend had a good laugh. And once I did get them loose, they did perm very well. As in that they were really frozen in the way that they were. They were not gonna move. But it really looked like my eyelashes had put their fingers in a power socket. It was like one eye was normal, and I have very short straight eyelashes that you can barely see. So it was like one side was normal and the other was just like it was so bad. And obviously I wasn't going to do the other eye as well, because they didn't only look horrible, but some of them were like stinging into my eye and I couldn't get them to change out of my eye. So they're almost back to normal now, but for the past 2 months I've walked around with this and then yeah. Another short physical one is that I pinched a nerve in my neck in the beginning of January. I usually have this once a year, so we're really not wasting any time this year, my god. And it basically means that I can't move for about 3 to 4 days because everything just stiffens up and every position that I put myself in hurts, so I can't get myself comfortable. The wonderful thing about it this time was that it happened while I sneezed. I was actually editing, I sneezed, pinched my nerve, and then I was done for. What I do like about working for myself now though is I had this happen once to me when I was at work in an office. And just imagine, right? You're sitting there working in an office, everybody's working, you sneeze, and then you kind of have to tell your colleagues that you have to leave, and in about half an hour you won't be able to move for 3 days. And they're just looking at you like, wait, so you sneezed and now you have to go home all of a sudden? So yeah. And now we made it to the last category, which is laundry related. Let me get some extra tea. So this one's actually a bit cheating because it didn't happen to me in the last month and a half. It happened to me a few years ago, but I just thought it was a good story and I just want to document it for myself to make sure that I never forget. So this one takes place at a work weekend, I think 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And it was the new people receiving training all weekend, I think, whilst also doing team building activities, la-di-da. And I was there as a cook. And after my stories in the beginning, you might wonder, is it a good idea to put Jorieke in a position where she has to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 30 people for 3 days? And actually it went really well. So the answer was yes. Ha, got you there. But one thing that didn't go so well, so this all took place at my boss's house. Everybody was camping in little tents on his little piece of land. And Saturday night, we all went out playing some sort of laser game treasure hunt thingy in the woods. It was super fun. It was great. So my trainers were completely soaked and muddy and just super wet. And I forgot to bring more than one pair of socks. It was about November and it was pretty cold. And I had to get up before everyone to make breakfast for 30 people before they got up and had breakfast and then started their trainings. So when I woke up that morning, it was super cold and I really wanted dry socks. And I was just looking around me thinking, what can I do? And then I thought, aha, I'll put them in the oven. I think my train of thought was, I'll just put my socks in the oven for just a little bit. I don't need to use the oven now, just for lunch. So nah, I think it was more like everyone's still asleep, so no one will know kind of situation. So I put my socks in the oven and then made breakfast for everyone. And then obviously completely forgot about my socks in the oven. And then when some people came in and out of the kitchen at some point, they were like, it smells so weird in here. It smells like, I don't know, like feet. And the second someone said feet, I was like, oh no. So I very sneakily behind my back turned off the oven and then waited until everyone was out of the kitchen. And when I opened the oven, I had a very crunchy pair of socks. And just as I was like laughing at myself, like, oh, you loser, that's such a low point, you idiot, haha. I was taking them out and my then boyfriend, hi Jacob, who also worked there, came downstairs into the kitchen and he just saw me taking these completely stiff socks out of the oven, turning around, realizing I'm caught red-handed. I just stood there for a few seconds like, whilst he looked at me like, what? So then I explained to him and he's been torturing me with this story ever since. So I just realized that, like, just because my reach is very small on YouTube, the only people that are watching me now are people that came through my Instagram, I think. So I just realized that there is a very big chance that you used to work for that company and maybe you were even there that weekend. So yeah, that happened. So yeah, I think that'll be it for today's video. No idea how long I've been talking actually, but stay tuned because I actually am filming a lot of things behind the scenes. They consist of like multiple weeks of filming little bits instead of filming everything in one day. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming up that I cannot tell you about yet. That's not true. There's just a lot of stuff coming up, but I'm not gonna bore you with it because it's not that interesting. But yeah, thank you for hanging with me today. So kind of you to watch the entire video. I really appreciate that. If you liked it, you would really make my day if you would hit the subscribe button because it's free and it helps you go pursue her dreams. So yeah, please subscribe and click the like button so that I can keep telling you about my fails, I guess. Alright, have a wonderful day. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to people around you. Say hi to mum from me. And I'll see you next week. Bye! Bye! What? Oh, I didn't burp in this video. Really? Oh, so sorry. Oh, wait, okay. You're welcome.